Looking at the way the internet works right now and how horrifying each new development in the space is, I, like you, am wary of cheering any part of it on. Yay, more internet speak. No, that's not me. But oh my god, this internet dweller, this 20-year-old YouTuber has made such a phenomenal film. I'm like fully torn between my desire to hate and deeply admire the wonders of the World Wide Web and the beauty it is still capable of birthing. Let's talk about backrooms. Let's talk about frickin' backrooms.
And the more times it remembers something, the less it does.
Hi, in case you're new here, my name is Sucharita. I am a film critic who publishes all her work on this very channel, nowhere else. I am back after a very successful Cannes, and it cannot be emphasized how much of a leap it is going from all those auteurs at the festival to this 20-year-old Kane Parsons, who has made the first Hollywood horror film I have actually deeply enjoyed. Set in 1990, Backrooms open with shaky found footage of a mysterious man in a hazmat suit lost in a labyrinthine space with blank walls, fluorescent lights, no windows, and unending halls as far as the eye can see. Even if you know nothing about this film, which was me, you will instantly recognize the creepypasta internet obsession with abandoned spaces, which may or may not be parallel dimensions where mirror images of all of us roam and hide at the same time. So as this man gets increasingly more and more lost in these alleys, turning corners over and over again, you instantly begin to form your theories of what maybe is happening over here. However, the film then proceeds to entirely ignore everything that it is expected to deliver, going farther and farther away from any explanation on this lost person, the space he is in, and how he got there. Abandoning this abandoned man, you now meet the miserably failing, bitter, recently divorced shell of a man, Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, whose furniture store Captain Clark is set to go out of business very soon. Thrown out of his own home, clutching at a few final straws, Clark is trying to get help. His therapist is Dr. Mary Klein, played by Renata Ryensva, who's trying her best to help him while also dealing with her own childhood trauma of having escaped from an agoraphobic mother. Without giving too much away here, one day, Clark, who now lives at his furniture store, discovers a portal in his basement that leads him to these corridors that we saw in the very first sequence of the film. However, now they look just slightly different. Instead of the abandoned TV set that they looked like then, they now look like a furniture store. Except the store itself is like details from a dream that you're trying to hold on to after you've woken up, or something that is AI generated from 2021, back when ChatGPT was still producing malformed Will Smith eats spaghetti videos. Exploring these corridors becomes Clark's purpose, his obsession. His assistant, her boyfriend, and eventually the therapist Mary also find themselves in this space. The audience is trying to make sense of it just as much as these characters on screen are altogether.
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
Kane Parsons first started making these liminal space videos on YouTube in 2021. If you've seen his channel, you know exactly the kind of vibe this sort of content is meant to generate. Chernobyl ruins meet an abandoned amusement park, meets a crack den, meets a post-apocalyptic shopping mall, all of it inexplicably taking place inside the Dali painting. And content it is, because a lot of these videos were simply people who found themselves abandoned in these never-ending spaces. There was no explanation provided on how they got there. They just one day woke up in these spaces. The challenge of converting this to a feature film format with a plot, a backstory, and possible logic is one Parsons has met with the maturity of a far more experienced storyteller, a far more experienced human being, I would say. You see, this film uses the physical structures of the empty plain walls that you're seeing as canvases offered to the viewer to paint whatever color or psychedelic style and designs and squiggly lines that they might like. Like the characters, you too are invited to manifest and then face your own fear. Real quick, if you're a channel member of this channel here right now, watch till the end to find your name in the end credits of this video. Now, films and TV shows featuring liminal spaces make for great horror, spaces which feel just real enough to be familiar, but something is not quite right. You've seen this in Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things, all the way back to Alice in Wonderland, to be honest. But because Backrooms offers no explanation, the playground here is vast for a tired mind to conjure up fanciful images of their choosing. Despite the claustrophobia, the sheer limitlessness of the viewer's imagination is the only fear that this film is banking on and is playing with. After a point, you begin to imagine yourself in Clark's shoes. You're afraid to be in a place where all your intrusive thoughts are coming to life, and your demons, instead of being vanquished, have found a sort of recreational area. At the risk of sounding repetitive, I frankly cannot believe something so beautiful, artistic, and frankly, speaking a new language has come from a pure internet phenomenon, birthed from the brain of a young man who is yet to move out of his parents' home. The fact that this film is already earning a lot of money or is set to earn a lot of money is such a good sign. And if this heralds a change, encouraging more studios to trust more young voices and enable low-budget filmmaking again, a whole new wave might emerge in cinema.
What is this?
For today's Relation Made recommendation, let me take you back to 2007 when a much younger Anurag Kashyap managed to convince studios to give him money to make a horror/absurdist film about liminal spaces and perceived reality starring John Abraham and Aisha Takia. Yup, I'm talking about No Smoking, a Stephen King adaptation that addressed the fear of living in a surveillance state before most people were even thinking about talking about something like that. There's lots to talk about this week though. We have Steven Spielberg's sci-fi Disclosure Day and Imtiaz Ali's romantic drama Main Wapas Aaunga, both out this week. Until then, here is a list of films I watched at Cannes, and here is an interview with Anurag at the festival. Thank you to all my channel members whose names are on the screen right now. Thank you. My name is Ajarada. Thank you for stopping by.